Beware the sting of Scorpion as we have a look at the Hasbro Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is Marvel's Scorpion. Let's figure out how tall Scorpion stands. Now keep in mind, I've already taken the time and liberty of putting all these little pieces together. I'll show you how he comes out of the packaging. So a fully assembled Scorpion, there we go, stands at 9.8 inches. In centimeters, that translates to 24.9. To show you how he stacks up against some of the other Spider-Man figures, here he is next to Spider-Verse Spider-Man. And there he is next to Miles Morales. And of course we can't forget about the Prowler. Who could possibly forget about the Prowler? There he is with the Prowler. Prowler's got his little flame slippers on. But you can see how much bigger Scorpion stands than the rest of the figures that we've already looked at. When you get Scorpion out of packaging, well, he's not quite the full Scorpion. You have to do a little bit of assembly. His legs are two separate components, as well as his tail. For his legs, you're just going to want to go ahead and snap these into place. Now, I wanted to do it this way just to show you that there is only one way to put them. If you put them in this way, or this leg this way, you'll see that it sits on an angle. So that'll sort of dictate to you which way you need to put them in. So this leg goes in here, just sort of snaps into place. There's a little tab point there, and there's the socket there, and just tab that into place, just like that. And then there's a hole in the back. We can go ahead and take the Scorpion stinger and plug that right into the back like that. There's a little bit of poseability in the tail too, which I do like. And there you've got yourself a completed Scorpion. Scorpion's a decent looking figure, although I have to admit it looks like it does take some cues from the ill-embarrassed, ill-fated Scorpion King, the second installment of The Mummy, which had some of the worst CG ever. Kind of get that same similar vibe when I'm looking at Scorpion here. Probably a lot of it is for the fact that the top half of him is human, or the closest thing to being human. And then the lower legs are all just these mechanical mechanisms of terror. I felt the need to add all that extra stuff. A lot of hollow plastic, I hate to admit it. You can see all these gaping openings where they just decided to save some plastic. I suppose if one thing could be said for it, you really don't see it from the front. All that embarrassing hollow plastic only really makes appearances when you flip the figure around. You can see it's very obvious. But you can kind of pass that off, that it's also mechanized. And, you can almost say that that's part of the legs themselves. Having a close-up look at his face, I don't know if I like this look of Scorpion. Scorpion generally for me, and I sound like the old guy for saying this, here goes the old man saying this. I kind of like Scorpion in the green outfit with the green tail. This sort of mechanized treatment of him just, I don't think works all that well, but that's just my own personal opinion. His face sculpt is rather interesting. I don't really know what these are, these little rivets that are on the top of his forehead. Sure, he gets that down the side. I guess it's a continuation of the more bonier sort of Scorpion armed claw. They've kind of carried that over also into his head. I can't also tell if these are tattoos that he's supposed to have on his face. I mean, his face sculpt is rather interesting, but it's interesting if it's not Scorpion. Like if you were just to say that this is some mechanized guy, I would really dig it. Maybe again, I just have to slightly depart myself from that one category of old man thinking, and I have to move into new world thinking. To his credit, he does have a lot of color. I mean, the brown is really a nice touch. I love these little piercing lime-colored lights. I'm guessing they're lights, are all on these little hinged portions of basically non-functioning legs. You really can't do anything with these. He gets a little bit of that also on his claw, which also serves as his only gimmick. You just take the claw, this little button on the side, and it opens and closes. That's all it does, just that. Oh, sorry, you missed it. There you go. That's all it does. After all that, I mean, there's no other gimmick, if you will. He does have his scorpion tail, which unfortunately doesn't have any sectional points to it. I thought, if anything, he had this one end here that looks like it should be a separate piece from everything else. It doesn't look like it rotates. I guess it's just the way it's attached into place, but it does look like this part is a separate part from the rest of his tail. Again, I kind of wish that he did have poseability. What am I really expecting for a toy that's about $20? And yeah, unfortunately, a lot of hollow interior there. This is a little bit harder because the outer tail is what you would want to see finished. They ultimately just put some hollow end in here and on the complete interior of the tail, there, as you can see right there. Nice little bit of red, and again, really highly detailed for, again, a toy this this size and this price point. Again, the price point on this guy here in Canada, picked this guy up at Walmart if anybody was interested. Not that every single Walmart's going to have him, but Scorpion here set me back about $20, so he's about, say, $5 more than the regular Spider-Man figures. Poseability on this guy. His head rotates left and right. He does have a ball joint, but you can't really bring the head up any further than that. And like I said, it does, in theory, rotate all the way around. That would, of course, kill him. Rotate that all the way around. His arm rotates. This arm rotates. Gets stuck, of course. You can't move it past its... Come on, get out of the way there. Get out of the way there. Moves and gets a little stuck on the legs there. And, of course, if you want to count that as poseability, yeah, that opens and closes. The legs, unfortunately, I have to admit and say to you guys with such sad news, the legs do absolutely nothing. You could do this until the cows come home, but he doesn't actually have poseability. The front legs, I thought, if anything, could have had some hinges. They do rotate, but they don't rotate and stay in any one place. So it makes me think, actually, that they're just simply pegged in. You can't do anything with them. And then for the tail itself, the tail is also on its own hinge. And I guess in a way you could rotate the tail as well, because it's really just the way it's pegged into place. You can rotate it back and forth like that. And we'll just bring it back up, and the tail hinges back and forth like that. Technically, you could bring it all the way around. I guess if you wanted to have him protecting himself, the tail moves back and forth like that. I mean, it's not bad. It's a fun toy. I suppose it will look a little bit more interesting if it actually is in the Spider-Verse movie. I don't know if it actually is or not. Scorpion's got a neat looking design. I sort of have to just take myself out of the frame of mind of, well, he doesn't look like Scorpion that I know. Nothing lasts forever. Certainly designs change over the course of the years. This is apparently what they want to do with Scorpion, which is apparently they want him to look like the Rock from The Mummy. You know, a point I brought up when we had a look at some of the other Spider-Man figures, I think it was actually in the review of the Marvel's Prowler figure from also the Spider-Verse line, is that all these figures continue to look like they're from separate subcategory toy lines. They don't look like they're all belonging to the same Spider-Man Spider-Verse. This one sort of seems like something I would have seen from maybe Samurai Jack. Just the look on his face, the sculpting in his face, doesn't really look like the other Spider-Man figures that we've looked at thus far. I guess one thing that Scorpion does have that the other figures didn't have is he has a fully visible face. All the other figures that we've looked at, oh, you just realized that now? Yeah, I know. All the other figures up to this point have all had masks, so we haven't really had a chance to experience a fully realized face sculpt on some of the characters that will inhabit the Spider-Verse. Scorpion's really sort of the first entry into that. Again, I like the figure. He is a little on the shortcomings when it comes to poseability. I kind of wish at the very least you could have moved his legs. Is that expecting a lot? I don't really know. And I wish he could have also moved his tail a little bit better. Like, for the fact that you can see his tail having all those little sectionals, none of which you can actually move. Maybe, again, I'm expecting too much. I don't know. Either way, if you're interested in picking this one up for yourself, you should be able to find it now in retail stores. All of the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse figures have started showing up. Ironically enough, going back to the same Walmart where I picked up the other 3 figures, they have since vanished. They have disappeared off the pegs, never to be seen ever again until they get another stock and they put them out. Hopefully, sometimes Walmart here in Canada, they'll stock something. When it sells out, it's gone. And you'll never see it again. It's a strange thing. It's a strange occurrence. It must be because it's October. Yeah, it's October. Today we were having a look at the Hasbro Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think it actually is October, depending on when I'm posting. It is actually still in September. I just want to kind of reveal behind the scenes. It is still September, but I just kind of allotted myself a few extra days just in case I don't get this up right away. I'm going to say it's October. Watch me actually post it before October. Either way, getting ahead of myself, literally in time and in this dialogue. Today we were having a look, though, at the Hasbro Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This was Marvel's Scorpion. Again, not a bad figure. A little shortcomings on articulation, but an overall decent, fun figure if you're not stuck in the past, which apparently I am. If you guys want to go back and have a look at some of my other Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse figure reviews, there's a playlist just for that. And certainly more videos will be coming your way. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.